So with this first wave of Age of the Primes, I'm thinking Air Raid might be my new favorite deluxe, maybe of Transformers of all time. Now, at first, I did not think that I was gonna collect Superion. I didn't even think I didn't even was interested. I was only gonna get Devastator, and then I decided, you know what, I'll give Superion a try. And then the next day later, they decided to announce Bruticus. But I'm happy I got this figure. He's definitely one of my more favorite deluxes. He's a good shelf warmer. I've never been the biggest fan of Superion. He's only ever in like season 3 of G1, so he doesn't really do anything, significant other than just like fight in a couple small TV battles. He wasn't in the movie, like I said, because he wasn't introduced yet. But he's good. He gives the Autobots their own combiner, gives them some real major firepower against like Bruticus and, like I said, Devastator. And this figure is genuinely, he might be one of my favorites. I'm not gonna lie, he's a good small scale deluxe. For the price point of $25, he's pretty good. He's got good posability, good neck articulation, which is something I really appreciate in figures. It could be the best figure in the world, but if it's got like no neck articulation, I'm just not gonna like it at all. I have a Shockwave, the Dark and Moon Shockwave Studio Series. I don't really like that much because it looks good, but his neck is just so weird how it folds out and everything. He can look up pretty well. He can't look down at all, obviously, but you still get some good posability out of him. He's got a really good ankle pivot, crisp as hell, and it goes forward. That's more transformation than actual posing. He's got a good knee bend, but can only bend forward. And his backpack, I'd say, is the best part about it. It doesn't take up too much space. The wings can fold back. They can go fully out. It locks in pretty tight, but that's more of a transformation feature. Overall, out of the two members of Superion I have, I think he is pretty good. And for size comparison, here he is next to Air Raid. Sorry, this is Air Raid and this is Slingshot. I always get confused. And here he is next to Voyager Sentinel Prime, who might be my next review. So far, my only gripe with Age of the Primes has nothing to do with the figures. So far, the only ones I have are pretty good. My issue comes with these fuck-ass boxes. So for Legacy Evolution, we got these really nice, different design boxes. They have, not only are they slanted on sides, but they open at the top and at the side. It's a good way to differentiate them from Studio Series. And now with this Age of the Prime box, it feels almost exactly like the brand new Studio Series boxes. And there's another issue with that, it's hard to differentiate. Unless you're like actually looking at them, you might not tell what series they're from, and it can be kind of annoying. But let's get back to Air Raid here, and for now we're going to start the transformation. To start, you're just going to take his guns out of his hands, which, by the way, that's another thing I like. To differentiate his guns, they look more like shotguns compared to like regular blasters or like arm cans. I think they look really cool. Then you're going to take, speaking of which, you're going to take his arms, move them in like this, take his fists, and just push them into his wrists, just like that. You're going to take these wings and just pull them out a bit. You're going to bring his legs together. They're going to have a little connector. It's going to pop in like that. Just a little tab. Now you're going to want to take his legs and just give him some fucking Korean torture. Pop his legs out. Then you're going to bring him back up to these arms. And they have little tabs right here and little pins. They're just going to connect like that. Pop in together. You're going to bring his legs together. And you're going to want... They have a little hinge at the top here. They can be a little bit snug sometimes. But they're going to just hinge out. If you can ever get them to do. It's a bit easier when you don't have the legs combined, but I find I like just transforming them all together at once. And they're just going to slide down in here. I'm having some trouble with mine. Normally it helps to slide it a bit forward and then try. Also, it can get in the way of the fists sometimes, but don't let that stop you. There you're going to want to take his legs, and you're just going to bring them together like this. They're going to fold up. His feet are going to pull into his shins. He has little tabs on his shins, and they're just going to connect in right here. You're going to take his head, and you're going to rotate it, so it's facing his back. You're going to bring the plane cockpit and front bit down. It's going to tab into his shoulders right here. It's going to go all together like that. Then you're going to bring the wings down, and they're going to snugly just like fit right under these little arm tabs right here. Bring these little back wings back. And then you're going to rotate the other wings at the top. And here we have Air Raid in his plane mode. And actually, I really like this plane. I like it more than my Seekers, funny enough, which I love the Siege Seekers and the Earthrise Seekers. It's such a good mold, and I like it. But I like this just a bit more. It's smaller. It's a more compact plane, and I think the weapon storage looks a bit better than it does on the Seeker planes. Mostly that's just because I really like his the gun design that he has. And another thing is that he's a skeleton former. So unlike Devastator, where he looks weird, where all of his parts are just kind of put together. That's why they all look bad, because they have to make one big mold. Superion and Bruticus are working exactly like Motormaster, where they have a big commander figure and the rest can be smaller and just pretty much broken apart and slotted onto arms. I really like that. I think that's really cool. It's pretty similar to how they work on the show, because really only Devastator is really the only one who actually makes up his own body instead of just being limbs. And I think that's going to work really well for these Age of the Primes figures. And they're not going to look pretty bad. They're not going to have bad back articulation or bad just design. You'll actually be able to view them from other poses. But other than that, pretty solid figure. I like playing with him. He's easy. I'd say he's a good beginner Transformer figure for kids. He's pretty easy to get. I go to Walmart's, I go to Myers a lot in my area because I live in Michigan, so we have plenty. He's always stocked, and he's first price point, $25, or just wait like a month or two, depending on wherever it is. He might go on sale. But the good thing is with this current wave, the tariffs haven't affected it. So that's going to be the biggest issue for completing these waves, is the tariffs now affecting these, because pretty much everything made by Transformers is an import from either China or somewhere else in Europe, or not Europe, somewhere else in Asia where all the tariffs are active. But other than that, pretty good figure. If you guys like this video, you should like, comment, subscribe, and check in for more. I'm doing this more often now. I got more time on my hands. I'm also gonna be streaming more often. You can check that out almost every Thursday night, hopefully. Anyways, have a good one.